Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary life of the woman known all over the world as the Saint of the Gutters. But look, we're moving way beyond just a simple history lesson here. We're going to break down her journey to uncover some truly actionable lessons in compassion and sacrifice, and extract real wisdom about how just one person can literally change the world around them.
Let's start right at the heart of her philosophy. If you judge people, you have no time to love them. What a quote, right? This simple, powerful statement immediately sets the emotional baseline for everything we're about to discuss today. It totally represents a life completely and unapologetically dedicated to the poorest of the poor, stripping away all those societal prejudices to focus entirely on human connection and care.
So, Section 1, The Saint of the Gutters, a journey into sacrifice and compassion.
To give you a sense of scale, her incredible journey spanned decades. We're talking from her birth in 1910 to a huge relocation to India in 1928, all the way to a massive turning point in 1946, and finally catching global recognition with the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. Keeping this progression in the back of your mind really helps us understand the sheer scale and unwavering dedication of her life's work.
Moving on to Section 2, The Seed of Compassion, Early Life and Roots.
Well, before she was a global icon, she was born Anjise Gongshe Bojaju back in 1910 in what we now call North Macedonia. After tragically losing her father when she was just 8 years old, she was raised by a deeply religious mother who instilled some incredibly strong charitable values in her. By age 18, she took those values straight to heart and joined the Sisters of Loreto. And this perfectly illustrates our very first actionable lesson: how profoundly our early upbringing and those quiet daily examples set by our parents fundamentally shape our worldview.
Now, following that early vocation, she actually traveled to India. But here's the thing, she didn't head straight into the slums. In fact, she spent over 2 decades safely teaching at St. Mary's High School in Calcutta. She achieved success, respect, and stability in a highly comfortable, protected environment right behind the convent walls.
But she lived with this really intense daily contrast. Inside those walls, she had a comfortable, safe teaching career. But just outside the gates, a higher purpose was calling to her from the devastating, extreme poverty of the Calcutta slums. And the stark difference between her protected life and that harsh reality teaches us a vital lesson, Success in a comfortable job is wonderful, for sure, but we've always got to remain open to a higher purpose if it comes calling.
Which brings us to Section 3, A Call Within a Call, the 1946 turning point. Okay, so everything changed during a train ride to Darjeeling in 1946. It was here she experienced what she called the call within a call. It was this divine command to literally leave the safety of the convent and go live directly among the poorest of the poor in the slums. Just think about the immense, terrifying courage that demanded. She chose to completely abandon a secure, familiar comfort zone to step into absolute uncertainty. And to match this massive internal shift, she made a profound outward change too. She traded her heavy, traditional religious habit for a simple, cheap, white and blue bordered cotton sari. This wasn't just a wardrobe swap, it was a profound declaration. It was a huge step away from her old, protected life and a practical way to physically blend in and connect directly with the exact people she aimed to serve.
So, pause for a second and consider your own comfort zone. What is your call within a call? Where in your life are you feeling a pull to do something more meaningful, even if it totally scares you? How might you step into the unknown to serve a greater purpose?
Section 4, Building a Global Mission, Grounding the Myth in Reality.
It's so easy to look back at historical figures like her as these untouchable saints who just magically made things happen. But Mother Teresa was a tough, resilient human being who started her incredible mission with absolutely zero funds, no blueprint, no powerful backers. This wasn't some abstract charity, it was intense physical labor. She was literally out there physically picking up dying individuals from the streets so they wouldn't die alone. She was caring for shunned lepers, opening orphanages for abandoned children. These practical, boots-on-the-ground actions show exactly how she built the missionaries of charity from absolutely nothing through sheer grit, compassion, and relentless action. Of course, it wasn't a smooth road. Actually, she faced crushing financial hardship and intense initial suspicion and pushback from the very locals she was trying to help. Good work is always going to face obstacles, right? Yet, her journey teaches us that consistency, resilience, and remarkably pure intentions will eventually win people over and silence the critics.
All right, Section 5, Small Things, Great Love,
The Nobel Peace Prize and her enduring legacy. $192,000. Think about that number for a second. By 1979, the world had recognized her decades of relentless, grueling efforts with the Nobel Peace Prize, and that massive figure was the exact cost of the lavish ceremonial banquet traditionally held for the winner. But Mother Teresa, she firmly requested that the entire banquet be canceled. Why? So that those funds could be diverted and given directly to feed the poor in India. She never stopped advocating for her cause, even on the world's most glamorous stage. And she certainly didn't stop there. She continued her tireless, hands-on work among the poor, completely ignoring her own increasingly failing health, right up until she passed away in 1997. Her ultimate lesson to us is that true greatness isn't found in shiny awards or recognition. It's intrinsically tied to deep humility and a lifelong commitment to putting the needs of others far ahead of personal honors. Which brings us to perhaps her most practical, enduring piece of advice. We can do no great things, only small things with great love. This quote beautifully summarizes everything we've looked at today. Her life was a living testament to the sheer power of an individual changing the world, not through massive, sweeping global policies, but through simple, persistent, everyday acts of profound love.
So what do you think? Which part of Mother Teresa's journey touched you the most? More importantly, take a look around your own life, your own neighborhood, or your workplace. How can you implement her concept of small acts of love today? The world has changed one small act at a time. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I hope this sparks some great love right in your own community.